When Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool, many fans wondered who could possibly replace him. Enter Slot, a name that quickly became legendary in his first season. Slot not only met expectations, he shattered them. With smart tactics and a fresh approach, he is now leading Liverpool to a close Premier League title once again in his debut season. So what made Arne Slot so special? Well, in today's video, we are going to be breaking that down and how he got to where he is at Liverpool. Now, Slot didn't just appear out of nowhere. His coaching journey started in the Netherlands and really shined at Feyenoord. At Feyenoord, Slot built a team known for its high energy pressing and quick transitions. His teams play exciting attacking football and were incredibly hard to beat, similar to what we saw with Jurgen Klopp, but yet had different ideas when it came to gegenpressing. Slot's success at Feyenoord put him on the radar of many European clubs. He won the Eredivisie title and took Feyenoord to deep runs in European competition. More importantly, his team had a clear identity: fast, aggressive, and adaptability. When Liverpool came calling, it felt like the perfect match for both sides. Now, one of the big takeaways is the fact that the players that are at currently Liverpool have shined brighter under Slot. They didn't bring any new blood into the midfield, and yet they have one of the best midfields this season. We've seen Gravenberch really shine under Slot. We've seen McAllister get better with his passing. We've even seen Curtis Jones having a breakout season under Slot. These players have been playing out of their minds, and even Szoboszlai, yes, he hasn't found the back net as much this season, but he's still a very important piece to the tactics for Slot.
So let's dive into the formation.
One of the things we need to look at with this formation is how they can press different parts of the pitch. Now, what we've seen with Liverpool is that they can be very compressed in the middle of the pitch. Why this is important is because they can win the ball in any segments in these areas depending on who is winning the ball back. We have Gravenberch over here overloading the left side. He can also rotate to the right side. Szoboszlai is also a ball winner, and even McAllister. But the fact is, when they do win the ball in this area, is how quickly they can actually counter-attack teams. Because what happens when they win the ball here, they can play a ball to Salah, who can actually drop it back to Trent, who then can play a quick through ball, whether that's going to Salah, Jota, or even hit Diaz out on the left side. These are all key ways that Liverpool can beat teams down who, again, come out of their shell every now and then. On top of that, when they do drop back and they sit like this is another way that Liverpool can actually win the ball here. So as they're playing defensively, these three players are typically still up higher. Now, granted, one of them may drop, but Mohamed Salah is typically out past the last defender and looking for outlets for his defensive. So anytime he gets a ball, he's receiving for almost anyone. They are constantly looking for Salah to run down this side of the pitch with the ball, and when he does that, he's more than capable of beating players one-on-one. If he beats them, he can obviously have a shot on goal, which he's more than capable of doing, but if Jota is there or Diaz, he can play an easy ball across to those players who then will have an easy tap-in. This by itself is what makes Liverpool so dominant, because they are not reliant on just one way to hit teams on counterattacks. Because like I said earlier, when we have them in this area, they can still hit counterattacks on teams even though they are still almost in their own half. Because despite when teams have the possession in this area, they still hold a very high line. And yes, the teams could hit the ball over the top, but with Virgil van Dijk's awareness, he's typically able to win that ball back, or Konate with how much pace he has, he can obviously run back, and even Alisson is able to come out and win those balls. And once they do win that ball, it's a quick 1-2-3 pass, and they're already hitting teams on the counter. And with the pace of these three guys here, Liverpool are very lethal and very quickly at that. Now, another way that Liverpool have hit teams on goal scoring opportunities is having Szoboszlai push up, almost having four players attacking at once. Now, what we've been seeing with this is actually McAllister sitting in this position, and Gravenberch, if you look at his heat map, you are seeing him constantly in this entire area throughout the entire match. Now, let's say he's sitting here. We then see Trent Alexander push up into this area. Now, when they have the ball, then they are able to push the ball around and find different players. But with the four players here, what they are going to be able to do is make different runs. Now, Soboslai does not get enough credit for what he's been doing this season. When he's making runs, half his runs are not even to receive the ball. What he's actually doing is he's driving defenders with him to then allow Mohamed Salah to go into the box, or again, if he is not driving that way, say he's pulling this way, he's giving Mohamed Salah a one-on-one opportunities, which we talked about earlier in the video. And this again allows him, an elite player, to do what he wants to do with the ball. Because again, he can shoot the ball from here, he can cross the ball, he can go down the sideline, he can even play the ball back and just recycle the entire ball and get it back and do something again with the ball. This by itself, again, is why Liverpool is so dominant when they have the ball, because there are multiple players that they can constantly keep feeding the ball into, and because they're able to push up, and because of the players that they have and their caliber of passing the ball, any one of these three players here can hit a ball into any of these four players here. So whether it's a through ball, whether it's a ball over the top, any of these balls makes it very difficult for defenders to defend. And yes, Liverpool don't really have the height with these three players here, with Jota, Diaz, and Mohamed Salah. They still win aerial duels because they are running into areas that defenders cannot run and jump and defend all at the same time. And therefore, again, when they hit the ball just perfectly, it's very easy for them to find the back of the net. Now, one of the things we saw with their pressing with Jurgen Klopp was this high-intensity gegenpressing. And what this really was is players just constantly chasing the ball down to try to win the ball back. While this was very important for Jurgen Klopp's style, that is now how Arne Slot uses his tactics with pressing. They actually are more in the area of just winning the ball in spaces. So if a player definitely drops into this area, they are not closing him down completely. They are waiting for him to kind of move the ball. And once he starts moving, they block those channels where he can play a ball. So now all of a sudden, he has to play a ball way back, or they have to try to play the ball over the top. Because of this, they are more brilliant when it comes to defending and pressing. This doesn't wear on the legs as much because they're using more mentality and understanding where the ball is going to be moving. Because of this, this actually allows the team for Liverpool to then again hold their possession and also not use their energy as much throughout the match. Whereas we saw with Jurgen Klopp at the end of seasons, the teams would be pretty fatigued. But right now, getting into the final third of the season with Liverpool, we've seen them go match to match with teams throughout this entire season and not be gassed at all. And that comes down to, again, how they are finding areas to, again, defend in certain areas. Now, granted, teams are still going to find pockets of space throughout the entire match because that's just how the game works. But over time, what we're seeing here is, again, these players pushing into some of these areas, knowing that the ball is going to be played there. And when it is, they then challenge that area to win the ball back. And like we said earlier, when they do win the ball back in these areas, they are quickly finding outlets to these players. So again, whether it's Robertson playing a ball over the top Salah, playing it down the line here to Diaz, or again finding Soboslai, who then can drive the ball into this area and play a through ball, or even have his own shot. Finally, we need to look at the role of the fullbacks. One of the major changes under Slot was the role of Liverpool's fullbacks. Trent, who struggled defensively in previous seasons, was given a hybrid role. Slot now uses him as a playmaker from deep, allowing him to step into the midfield when Liverpool have possession. Not that Klopp didn't do this, but again, we're not seeing being reliant as more of a defender. He's becoming more of an attacking midfielder, and therefore, again, understanding what they need from this player has shown brightly. And currently on the left side, Andy Robertson was more conservative, focusing on defensive and making overlapping runs only when it was safe. This balance has given Liverpool more stability while still allowing them to attack and continue to score each and every match. So, Slot didn't just dominate the league, he's doing it in style as well. Liverpool have scored almost the most goals this season and conceded the fewest. They are one of the best teams currently right now in the league by a landslide. Now, the conclusion, though, is Arne Slot, yes, is still new to the Premier League, but it seems like he's already found his footing in his first season and taking Liverpool closer to one more per league title. That being said, though, there are things that still need to be fixed at Liverpool. And yes, during the summer, I'm sure Liverpool will bolster this side and continue to be a beast next season. The thing is, though, how long can Slot keep this up? Because we've seen managers come into the league and do wonders their first season, but then slowly slide into the abyss. The same could be for Slot, but we will see as time continues on.